know, you see,
Easy.
somehow the world will get to me and be so wonderful.
And so Cincinnati thought.
Yeah.
Yes. In case you all missed it. Okay. Um this past Sunday we had Super Bowl. I don't even know what it is. It 56? Roman numerals are hard.
Yes, 56.
Yeah, Super Bowl 56. We had the Los Angeles Rams, formerly known as St. Louis Rams, host the Super Bowl. Second team to do it, followed by Tampa Bay last year.
But they weren't the home team.
But they were not the home team. No, the Cincinnati Bengals, the nasty natty. Okay, they were technically the home team. And I had a bad feeling, man, when they chose to go black uniforms. They were wearing white the entire time. I had a feeling.
Nope.
I had a feeling that it was not gonna be a good night. Actually, no, I was very confident. And
I was honestly going into the game and just watching the first half. I was like, I'm still confident that the Bengals are going to pull through and win the game. And then the third quarter happened, and I was like,
well, the third quarter gave you all the hope in the world, and you're like,
no,
there's still another whole quarter.
We're doing this. It's happening. And then like
they
had
held
the
them entire state of Ohio.
The fourth quarter, and then
this was the look. The entire fourth quarter.
Yes.
No.
I was
like, no.
Why?
Or get him!
I was, but like, part of me was like, I can't be mad. Some people, Matt Stafford, deserved to get a Super Bowl ring.
Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
You spent 12 years with the Lions with your talent, my guy.
Okay.
Congratulations.
But okay, we'll just jump into it. Who deserved it more? Matt Stafford, which I respect tremendously. He actually is a fantastic quarterback.
He's an amazing quarterback that gets overlooked just based on like the team.
Like you said, he was trapped. He was trapped in Detroit.
No.
And it's a shame that he was trapped in Detroit. I mean, he still had Calvin Johnson. They just didn't have enough pieces to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy when you're playing against, you're in a division where the Vikings are always good, right? They're always competitive.
Yeah.
At the time, in his prime with Calvin Johnson, the Bears had a very strong defense with Urlacher.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget about the time, like Brian Urlacher and the Bears, even though it was Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler, the defense was ridiculously good. They also had Devin Hester.
Yeah,
one of the best returners of all time.
Special teams person.
Yeah, and then you're talking about the Packers, who were loaded coming off of the Brett Favre era into the Aaron Rodgers era.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Matt Stafford never had a walk in the park with Detroit. But the question is, who's more deserving of a Super Bowl, him or the entire fan base of Cincinnati?
Ugh. See, I definitely...
There's only one answer.
Yeah, it's Cincinnati all the way. I mean, if you think about it, like the Rams are kind of a super team that was just kind of put together
this year.
Yeah.
They had pieces and they just added to become that super team.
Yeah, that's really what it was, where, I feel like the Bengals have been, dude, I've been with the Bengals for 5 years. Dude, I've been with the Bengals for 10 years.
Yeah,
like,
spent my whole career
at the Bengals, and like Bengals fans and Browns fans definitely see eye to eye on the fact that
I think they're one of the most loyal fan bases.
Yes. Like, if like, okay, I just gotta say this story. So driving around Sunday before the game in Columbus, Ohio, I have never seen that many Bengals like flags on cars, Bengals stickers on cars, Bengals jerseys, Bengals sweatshirts, Bengals everything. Where was this like all through the year? you know?
Because well,
Like
you know
I
what the
get like people
answer
are
is.
definitely bandwagoning, and plus, like, I mean, I bandwagoned, come on, like,
Well, we both
go
pulled for the Bengals.
Ohio pulls for each other,
That's what I was gonna say
if the
though,
Browns
is
aren't in, we'll pull for the Bengals. If the Bengals aren't in, the Bengals will pull for the Browns. Like,
yeah, and
it's a
that's the
very much
thing.
respect factor between, like, at least the
Well,
fans
it's
of
the
Ohio, I feel.
yes, and I think that's the thing. Like I was gonna bring that up is when were Ohio State fans upset when Ohio State didn't get in because of the two uncharacteristic losses and UC got instead of them? Well, yeah, we want to be in there, right?
Yeah.
But did all of us root for UC when they played Alabama?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
Absolutely, we did. And now we've talked about before that, like Cincinnati, I feel like it is kind of hit and miss on if they show that love back. But even if they don't, they're going to receive that love from the rest of the state.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because almost every Browns fan I know was rooting for the Bengals.
Oh yeah.
Because it's will it suck that it's a division rival that wins the Super Bowl and they can hang that over us? Well, yeah, but don't you kind of want your division rival to win so that you're like, hey, reality check, we want to be with them, right?
Yeah,
Like
we want to be better than them. We
yeah,
want
that's
to
the standard
take
now, is
the
that we
trophy
want to
next
go
year, you know?
exactly. But also it's the whole it's Ohio, it's an Ohio team.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we see that with baseball too. Regardless of the Reds or the Indians, I'm not calling them the Guardians, they're the Indians.
Indians.
Yeah, the Windians.
Let's go.
But whenever they're in the postseason, I mean, obviously I'm an Indians fan, but I'll put on the Reds game and I'll root for them. And I know plenty of Reds fans that root for the Indians and that's a little easier because it's AL versus NL, right?
Yeah.
Like you just have the
Yeah.
Ohio Cup. It's not that big a deal. But you also had the Blue Jackets and the Cavs. Like they tweet out so much support for everybody. The Blue
Yeah.
Jackets, I don't know if you saw, they tweeted after their game, they were on their team plane coming home, and they were all wearing Joe Burrow jerseys. Every single one of them.
Yes,
Like
sir. Yes,
that
sir.
is the state of Ohio. And I think it's partially because with the state of Ohio, you have like Cincinnati and Cleveland and Columbus. They're big cities, but they're not New York. They're
Yeah.
not Chicago. They're not LA. They're not Dallas. They're not Miami, right? We're not those big tourist sites. We're not those big cities. So it is a small market. So it's that small market vibe where, it's good for the state. So we're going to root for each other.
Yeah.
And I also think with Cincinnati being where they are, they got Colts fans and Indiana on them, and they had the entire state of Kentucky pulling for them. Like I think you had some Tennessee Titan fans from Tennessee pulling for you. I don't know about Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh is really weird, but like I don't see Steelers fans rooting.
Yeah,
but,
no, I don't walk in with a Steelers fan and someone peed in his coffee that morning, and I was like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that you had the Bengals primarily had the whole state of Ohio rooting for them, but you also had Indiana and Kentucky and parts of Tennessee, and I'm sure parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania as well, as like the main primary thing.
Oh yeah.
So when we're talking about fan bases, it's Cincinnati and Cleveland, I think, are the most deserving. I would also throw Detroit up there. I've gone to a decent amount of Detroit fans.
Detroit deserves something, but they need work.
I agree with that, and I
mean, look at the
Detroit's
Browns. Look at the Bengals. Like both of them. I mean, the Browns for the longest time had a new quarterback every game almost.
Yes,
and I
was, it was like 2 a season.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right, guys, what are we doing? Maybe winning 3 games a year. And those are usually like the first 3 games, and then get blown out the rest of the year. And you're like,
but that's the thing though, is that you still had diehard fans. And I think that's what you get with Cincinnati and with Cleveland and Detroit.
But I mean,
okay, and I would
it
also
could be the same way in LA, but not. I feel like it
but
can't
I don't think
really
it
be
is,
because it's the Rams. If it was like you can't even say Oakland Raiders anymore. It's like,
but that's the thing, is that when it's a big city like that, it just seems like the fan base is more celebrities, where it's the cool thing to go to.
Yeah.
Instead of those diehard fan bases. And I do feel, speaking how the Rams switch cities, I feel bad for St. Louis because I
mean,
understand
look at the Browns.
I
Look at the Browns.
I understand that LA was where the Rams were originally, right? And then they moved to St. Louis, but they made a home in St. Louis. They had a diehard fan base. I mean, it was a smaller market, but then you moved it back to the limelight because you wanted that LA vibe, Silicon Valley. You wanted to go up against San Fran. You wanted the celebrities, right? It's all about the pictures and the Instagram now.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating that it's getting to that point because it's not the diehard fan bases anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but you can kind of see that with just like the players itself. Like, I feel like you don't see as many like diehard fans like sticking with, or not fans, diehard players like sticking with one team. Kind of how I feel like we saw more with previous teams. Like Tom Brady, yeah, he's been pretty much a Patriot his whole career, but then
it's definitely
he went
changing.
to Tampa. It's definitely a shift. I don't think it's necessarily about the team anymore. It's more about who can get the top line, who can get the best of the best through
It's
whether
all
that be like
about
Instagram followers
it's all about the money
the
now.
cheddar or whatever it is. Like, dude,
it's all about the money now. But
let's get them brownies. And we should
I
just
would
combine
also
Cleveland, Cincinnati, super team.
Super team. What are you gonna? Who are you gonna cut?
I'm gonna cut Baker.
Give me Joe Burr.
Yeah, I like Baker can play backup. He's too busy doing commercials. Jay Burr is out here grinding. Stunting on people.
What would you do with the running backs? Who would you get rid of? You got Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt.
See, what I would do is I wouldn't get rid of any of them. We would start running almost like a hockey line style offense.
I say just get the triple option out there.
But it'd be like a full house types package, So you'd have like three people in the backfield, and then just swap out lines, I think that'd be pretty great. Because I can't really say like, hey, you're off the team, bud.
Yeah, you don't have that power.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the game though. So, I think we're agreeing that in terms of deserving, Cincinnati might have deserved it more.
Yeah, I mean, but you can say like, oh, they deserved it more. I mean, you can say, oh, well, LA deserved it more because they're moving.
I don't think LA deserved it.
Blah blah blah.
No, it's LA. It's LA.
I don't either.
Look, it's crappy in Ohio this time of year. Like everybody needed that trophy to get through.
We just wanted that trophy to come in so we could all just like celebrate.
It is gray and cloudy and cold. Okay, LA, you have beaches, so you can just kiss my ass and give me the Lombardi. Thank you.
Please, thank you. Bye.
But no, I would say the game itself. Some people told me, it was a pretty boring game, and I'm like, really? 'Cause it was a
pretty close,
good game.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely back and forth a lot, and that's kind of what I like to see. You're not seeing like, oh, this crazy downfield play. You're not getting a whole lot of those because
it wasn't 50 to 40.
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting that because you're watching two NFL teams, both with high caliber defenses, high caliber offenses going at each other.
Well, I think both who relied on their defense to get them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reality of it. So, no, I thought it was a good game. The final score, unfortunately, 23-20. Bad guys, good guys didn't win. Hurts that it was a blue and yellow team versus an Ohio team.
I know,
right? But no, a good game nonetheless. I did think that the Bengals got the ball back with just under 2 minutes left, down by 3. And it seemed like they were, moving the ball pretty well, pretty quick. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, is Evan Shooter McPherson? Oh my gosh, the stare. That was very intense.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to. Oh, here he's coming back.
But I thought Evan McPherson was going to get a chance to tie it up and send it to overtime.
Yeah,
I was
no,
fully prepared for
I
that.
was ready for the field goal unit to come out and kick a field goal. I just wish they would have gone a little farther down the field just so they could bring him out and have him, shoot the boot. But
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
close.
Well,
But like, I mean,
I don't
we haven't even
agree
gotten
with
into
that.
like the calls and stuff. Like, I don't know about you, but I felt like some of the calls were very one-sided toward one team, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
was just me.
Well, and it's worth noting in something high caliber as the Super Bowl. I mean, you're gonna get missed calls, right? Like
Yeah,
you're always gonna have missed calls, especially in football. And there were missed calls that went both ways. I'm not gonna disagree with that, but I would agree with you in saying that there were more calls that favored the Rams than that favored the Bengals.
yeah,
And if you watch the game, then you know what we're talking about. If you didn't, you can go watch the highlights
yeah.
because
And they talked
it,
about it.
yeah, it was pretty obvious. So I I think it starts to note with the first half was pretty flag free.
Yeah,
There were
they were
not.
very, hey, let them play,
Yeah,
kind of mentality.
I think they called one delay a game on the Rams and maybe a defensive holding on the Bengals in the first half.
Yeah, there was
Like,
not a whole lot going on.
no, it was very, very clean.
Yeah,
And the second half started, the Bengals had a big play, which everybody uses as a rebuttal to, oh, the Bengals got screwed by the refs, because in that play, T. Higgins pulls Jalen Ramsey down to the ground by the face mask, catches the ball and runs for the touchdown. Now, what I would say to this is it's 100%, 110% a blown call, right?
yeah,
It's a face mask on
yeah.
T. Higgins.
That's
There's no
true.
question about that. However, there was no referee in the location to see him
Yeah,
pull. Like, there's no referee behind the play, which was odd. So I think
yeah,
somebody messed up there and didn't
yeah,
keep up with the play. But what are the refs supposed to do when they actually don't see it?
yeah,
Like, do we want the referee in the sky with the camera to be able to be like, oh wait, hold up, there was a flag? Like,
yeah,
is that what we want? Because that's the only thing I can say to fix that issue.
yeah.
So
And
there was a missed call.
yeah, no, and
Um,
I agree with that. The Bengals got away with a quick one there. But then it almost kind of felt like the refs were
it,
trying to rebuttal it by making some other calls that they kind of let play the rest of the game, and then just
yeah,
decided to change their mind on it.
it was
Um,
interesting because you said, like, kind of like let them play a little bit more physical, because later, or no, it was yeah, it was later in that half when the Bengals got a pick and they were about to extend their lead, right? But then they had to settle
yeah,
for a field goal. um T. Higgins got tackled by Jalen Ramsey on the goal line before he even caught the ball.
yeah.
And I'm like, of course, I think it was Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth said
They're
something
like,
along
yeah,
the lines of he
that's
was
a missed
going.
call right there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's going for the ball, and it's like, well, you still can't go through somebody.
Yeah,
So that was a huge missed call because that puts the ball at the 1
yeah,
and allow it, and it was on the 3rd down, and then the Bengals probably score a touchdown. So, like, that's a huge missed call. Like, that's just unacceptable, especially when there's 2 people right there.
yeah,
Now on the other end, Cooper Kupp got taken out at one point by I think it was a Zuzier,
yeah.
and they didn't call anything. So
Yeah,
okay, you're letting them play, right? So to
yeah,
that degree, it was like, okay, you're letting them play, you're letting them be more physical, whatever. But that does not excuse the whole last Rams possession of the game. Let's just gift them a first down when they can't get it themselves and ensure that they win the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Because I'm sorry, but that phantom holding call on Logan Wilson is utterly unacceptable
Yeah.
and ridiculous. And Logan Wilson's a baller. I still have no idea how he ended up at Wyoming for college. I don't understand how
Yeah.
Josh Allen ended up at Wyoming for college either.
Hey, I mean, they made it to the league. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, but that dude is a stud. He was making plays left and right. Him and Hubbard and Hendrickson running around everywhere, and Pratt finishing tackles, and Von Bell and Eli Apple and Zuzier coming up and making open field tackles. Fantastic. Loved them seeing him running around. Logan Wilson was a one-man wrecking crew, though, with the run game. He was firing through those gaps so fast that Henderson had nothing to do. Yeah. Henderson and Akers were screwed from the start. They had nowhere to go. And it's frustrating because he's just a straight athlete. And I saw a lot of NFL linebackers coming out afterwards saying it was not a holding call. It was not defensive holding. The only reason why you called it is because there's a linebacker on a wide receiver, and you anticipate that he can't keep up with him. And I think it was an anticipation call.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
definitely
truly
was.
believe.
I mean, if you're gonna call that for what it was, there has to be something else that's triggering you to call it.
Yeah.
Because based on what you see, you don't even see the jersey get pulled. Like,
no, he does
hand there, but his hand is not touch. It's not pulling. Yeah. It's not gripping.
His hand was on his hip to inhibit him from going deeper in his route. Okay, yeah. Whatever. But every defender does that. Like, every defender has a hand on the hip. Jalen Ramsey had T. Higgins' jersey extended at one point when T. Higgins was trying to run away from him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I'll be the first hot take. Jalen Ramsey is not that good of a cornerback. I'll take other people over him because he gets exposed at least once a game.
Yeah.
Like, and he runs his mouth way too much. But Logan Wilson had his hand on his hip, didn't pull him at all, and does a nice swing move and swats the ball.
Yeah. And
yet we're going to sit here and call it a defensive holding when there was nothing held.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just I'm sorry. Thing that's like, I guess I'm not as familiar with the rules, but like, that should be something that you should be able to like rebuttal right there. Like, you should be able to just be like,
challenge it.
Not a holding call. Like, you should be able to just throw a flag on that.
Well, and that's what I wonder if I don't know how to fix that, because the only thing I could think of is that the replay official could be like, yeah, no, that's not a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can give them the power to do that. It would probably extend games, because they could be like, hey, yeah, no, I disagree with, like, I don't know what would happen, but something needs to happen, because that was just utterly ridiculous. Like, absolutely unacceptable, because it gives the Rams a first down.
Yeah.
And
play that they shouldn't have gotten a first down in the first place on. So
yeah,
it's like,
and so the pass interference by Eli Apple at the goal line to put the ball on the one, whatever. It was pass interference, but at the same time, when you run a play like that at the goal line, it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going to tackle everybody. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's just unfortunate. It was designed to have that happen. I don't agree with them calling a helmet to helmet on Von Bell, because he decided to light Cooper Kupp up as he came down in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, what, do you just not want him to hit him? Like, he's on a downward trajectory and Von Bell hit sticks him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's going to be a violent hit. That's the whole idea of football. So I disagree with that, especially because that offsetted their holding call on the Rams that would have backed them up.
Yeah.
So it's just
like, I don't like, and you can't put all the blame on the refs, because you can't. At the end of the day, if you are the better team, you should pull out and win. I just think that with the two teams that were playing, they were so close matched that
you can't have the refs determine the outcome.
Yeah, you can't have that happen. And I think, especially with like the Bengals, they were looking really good first half. They were really moving the ball. Third quarter, they were still moving the ball, but then the Rams kind of picked up on their blocking scheme and were countering it and basically shut down Joe Burrow. So, I mean,
well, and what doesn't help is that you're talking about I believe 3 of the Bengals offensive linemen were backups.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's
So
another thing I was thinking about too. Like,
that's why I think it's more impressive. The
yeah,
Bengals play was more impressive because it was,
especially having the backups, or at
yeah,
least most, it'd be at least 2. I think it was either 2 or 3, I
it
think.
was 2 or 3 offensive linemen were backups, and then you're talking about CJ Uzama, their tight end, was not 100%.
Yeah.
I don't think he got any touches in the game, and
I
he's
think
normally
they
a
looked
pretty good
at him like
producer.
once or twice, but I don't think anything too crazy
Yeah, so
happened.
you're talking about like they were down with injuries. And speaking of injuries, Joe Burrow played with a strained MCL
Yeah.
during that game. So like
Oh,
he was,
Poppy.
yeah, he wasn't very mobile because his knee was injured.
Yeah. I mean, he
So
still was picking up on the ground too. I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, he was out there running around, you know. I mean, he's
so
probably
I
like,
think
oh,
it's,
in so much pain the next day. But I mean,
yeah,
dude,
but
he
he's
was
got
out there
months.
getting that
He's
done.
got
Yeah.
months to be fine.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think the Bengals were more impressive because I truly, like, I'll continue to believe this, that I do believe that they were the better team.
Yeah.
I do believe that the Rams got help at the very end to seal the deal. Because in addition to those calls that we just broke down that gave them a touchdown, essentially, which is really frustrating. I hate seeing all the hate for Bengals fans going at Eli Apple because Cooper Kupp scored on him. When Cooper Kupp lined up against him, he really didn't do much except for that touchdown at the very end. And I'm sorry, but when it's a run pass option on the goal line, as a defense, you're basically giving up a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like to perfectly guard that is extremely hard. And if Eli read it a half a second sooner, he probably would have picked off the pass. But if he
Yeah.
read it a half a second sooner, it would have been a run for a touchdown instead of a pass, right?
Yeah.
Like Stafford's good
It's,
enough to realize that.
yeah, it's a catch
So
22. You're not gonna,
yeah,
you're giving up one thing for another thing to happen,
yeah.
essentially.
So it's frustrating because I wish Eli would have been able to turn his head and, make some type of play to stop it. It's just, it is what it is. But the Bengals got the ball back. So of course everyone's saying, well, you had a chance. You had a chance with timeouts to go down the field, and they moved it. I disagree with the play call on 3rd down as well as 4th down. I completely and utterly disagree with it. But what frustrates me even more is that on that last play where Aaron Donald gets in and spins Joe Burrow, who still made a throw and hit P. Ryan in the hands, and he just didn't catch it. Jalen Ramsey fell down. Jalen Ramsey fell down, and Jamar Chase was wide open on the 30, running to the end zone. If they blocked Aaron Donald for half a second more, Burrow is heaving that to the end zone. And we're talking about the Bengals being Super Bowl champs. All right. Like, that's what's so frustrating as a fan. You're like, oh, what could have, like, it was there. It was
I know,
there.
it was literally right there. And you literally just watched it go.
Yeah. Like seeing it from the other angles, I was like, oh my God. And that just comes back to Aaron Donald going up against second stringers. Aaron Donald has been in the league for 8 years.
Oh, Joe Burrow's about to be
he's a veteran.
the next Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
Bro,
three-time defensive player of the year. Wait, who'd you say is next Tom Brady?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, I thought you said Aaron Donald. I was like, no, I would say Joe Burrow is going to be the next Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, okay,
but he's going to have more Super Bowl wins. Okay.
Yeah,
I love Aaron Rodgers, but I also know the accolades do matter. But what's more frustrating is, I did a deep dive, and I shouldn't have, because now it's just like, oh my God, look at this, look at that. And Aaron Donald was offsides in the last play of the game.
It was that.
Aaron Donald was lined up with his entire right hand, arm, shoulder, and head across the line of scrimmage.
Bruh.
And they didn't call it.
A first down.
Exactly. 4th and 1. That's an offsides. That's 5 yards. He didn't call it. Another blatantly obvious.
Why are you telling me this?
Another
Why?
blatantly
Why?
obvious. So, hey, on that Logan Wilson play that they called defensive holding,
Yeah.
both offensive tackles moved before the snap. Both offensive tackles moved backwards before the ball was snapped. I mean, that's false start. That play should have never happened.
Ah,
It should have been 3rd and goal from like the 15. Like
this is now I want to go
that's
back
what
and see this shit and then be like,
that's what I'm
oh
saying though, is
wow.
that like something has to happen,
Yeah.
because you're talking about plays. And again, you can't blame everything on the refs. I understand that they don't play the game, but they do have a hand in the outcome
Yeah.
because of stuff like this. When you see blatantly bad missed calls that do determine, because if he's lined up off sides, he gets a half a sec or a half a step on the offensive lineman. That equates to a half a second to a second. Well, that half a second to a second would allow Joe Burrow to roll out and hit Jamar Chase for a game-winning touchdown. That is
Exactly.
game determining.
Yeah.
And when we choose not to call it, we have an issue, because your job as the line judge is to stand on the line of scrimmage and see if anybody's offsides. If they are, you throw the flag. Like, I don't understand how hard it is. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
If you're missing calls like that, especially in a big game, like I can see the aspect of, oh, we don't want a lot of penalties because it's the big game. We want to,
But when it's obvious stuff like
if there's
that,
stuff going on like that, then it's like, come on.
yeah, it's like, we don't want to call it, but when you blatantly break the rules, we have to.
Yeah. Like you
Like,
gotta keep
just
them accountable, you know.
yeah, like just like they threw a flag for Isaiah Prince smacking a dude in the face. Well, if you saw the replay, the dude called him an effing bitch. Okay. Yeah,
Read the
that
lips, buds.
I understand, like that would warrant a smack, right? Like you're being a POS. Okay, you're saying stuff. Now, should Isaiah Prince have done it? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's that was warranted for Isaiah Prince, but there's also, you're a ref right there. You heard what he said. Like, if anything, just call
if
it.
anything, give them both a penalty and then just like cancel them out.
Yeah, but also
know.
in regard to, you don't want a heavy penalized game. Okay, Isaiah Prince smacks somebody. Yeah, that's a flag. You forced our hand, right?
Yeah.
You forced the hand.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you choose to not call the blatant obvious penalties.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's like, you know, being a ref, like I don't know exactly what they're seeing. I don't know if maybe, oh, I looked over one way before like the play start. Like if it's your job to watch the line,
that's
especially before the snap, you need to be on that line watching it before the snap. You can't be like, oh, I wonder when I'm getting out of here. Oh, we're starting to play. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that brings me to the question of, I understand that refs are scrutinized left and right, especially because we have really good audio and video now that we can analyze everything from every single angle.
Yeah.
And it, unfortunately, that's what refs have to deal with in today's game. But do these refs deserve to be fined, if not fired, for their blatantly missed calls, mismanagement of the game, and their ghost calls, their phantom holding, their phantom whatever it be? Like, because it's unacceptable that you miss a face mask. It's unacceptable that you miss a false start and an offsides and all this stuff, and you throw a phantom holding for when there's no video evidence that it even happened. Like, that's just unacceptable. So like, what should happen to these refs?
Yeah. See, I don't think that you can go and just like fire someone based on like one call. I definitely think it would have to be like almost like a strike system, like, like different penalties, I would say would be like a different fine. I would say, like, if you're missing like a flagrant, like technical foul, like someone just starts pounding on someone or something like that.
It's like, no, I didn't see that punch.
Like,
what are you talking about?
Like, I didn't see that dude just freaking curb stomp someone.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of, no, I understand what you're saying, because I don't think they shouldn't be canned because of one game. It just happened to be that the game that they messed up so bad was the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the whole curb stomping, and that didn't happen in the Super Bowl, but there was a scuffle where Joe Burrow was running out of bounds and Aaron Donald grabbed him and threw him to the ground for no apparent reason
Yeah.
other than to get a cheap shot in at a quarterback. And then
Yeah.
you have a scuffle between him and a bunch of Bengals, and no flags were thrown. And I
mean,
mean, we're talking about shoving and hitting, like no like fist fight breaking out, but like in a regular season game, those are flags.
yeah.
So like, why is it any different in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. And see, you bring up a good point with that, because I do think that, yeah, you want to keep it lackadaisical on the like penalties, I guess, during like big games, but you can't change how you call games from
Mm-hmm.
regular season to like postseason to like tournament play. And that goes for like any sport, really.
Yes, absolutely.
I think with what we saw at this Super Bowl, I think we need to look at a way for maybe get like a second opinion, maybe have like a board of like referees that are like
On standby.
seasoned referees that have been in the game a while, know the rules like the back of their hand. And at any point in a game, if there is a foul that one of the coaches wants to challenge, and they can challenge, they just throw their red flag, and then once that goes down, then the refs will just call up to that other umpire and be like, yo, this is the play, here's like the footage, like what do you think on this
Yeah.
play, do we make the right call? That way there's a teaching instance for the people who are there, and then also it keeps the game more like legit, there's less
Yeah.
rules being broken, and I think it keeps everyone a little more accountable for how they're presenting themselves in the game. If you see one player constantly getting like holding calls and stuff like that, and they're not getting called, that's a way to correct that. Hey, so and so is holding. You can be like, hey, so and so is holding on this play, but then is that too much? If so and so is holding on every play and you're throwing a flag every play, that just extends the game like crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely a happy medium, and there's a couple of thoughts that were going through my head as you're explaining this. I don't disagree with the whole let's watch tape, right? Like let's watch tape and see what we missed, what we didn't miss, because obviously we're human beings, we're going to miss it. Like I understand that. It's just when you miss blatant calls, that's an issue, right?
Yeah.
So one, I hope that they actually do like video breakdown of how did you miss this? You need to be looking for that. Like this dude committed that so many times, like all that stuff. So I hope there are video breakdowns. Two, we already tried the whole reviewing penalties with pass interference because of the whole fiasco of the Rams and Saints, right?
Yeah.
And that was utterly ridiculous. They never got the calls right after reviewing it. So I don't see us ever going back to challenging, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if we did, this would bring me to my third point. If we did, I say make it like the MLB, where when you review the call, make the person who called it watch it with you.
Yeah.
Because MLB calls him out. Like if you call him out at second base on a steal and they challenge it, you and the crew chief for that crew go and watch it together to see if you made the right call or not.
Yeah. And
so it keeps you more accountable.
I was definitely recommending that. I feel like would be super beneficial for the NFL. I know the MLB definitely uses it a lot more with base runners transferring bases, as we are humans and we cannot see those millisecond response times that some of these plays are coming down to.
Especially with
bringing
baseball,
both parties over to actually watch the footage and go over it with them. I think that would be really good for both, like the game itself and also like safety in the game, and just keeping everything regulated as far as the sport goes, especially with going into like bigger games. Then the referees are going to be, hey, I had a call like this at this game and we had to end up reviewing this is what I'm seeing right now, I'm going to call the flag now. So I mean it's kind of beneficial for everyone
Yeah,
partaking.
I just, unfortunately, because of our leader in Roger Goodell, I have little faith that something like
Yeah.
that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't
So
think a whole
that
lot's
brings
gonna
me,
change.
yeah, that brings me to the last point in regard to officiating that I would like to bring up is, we mentioned something needs to happen to these refs, right? Like, no, they don't deserve to be fired unless they have so many games that are just utterly ridiculous, right? Like if they
Yeah.
have a rap sheet, then maybe it's time to rethink it.
Yeah.
But I do not believe that we should fire them based on one game. It's just unfortunate that one game is the Super Bowl. But what I would like to point out is I do believe that this crew should not be able to work postseason next year. I do not believe that because when you looked at the Bengals' first game when they played the Raiders, we had that whole Joe Burrow's running out of bounds and throws the ball. He's not out of bounds yet, but he throws the ball and it's a touchdown. But somebody blew a whistle, and by rule, it's an errant whistle, which means the play is over, which I think is stupid because the play was
Yeah.
definitely not over and they talked about it. Well, by rule, they're not supposed to talk about it. It should have just been dead ball from there, which a lot of Raiders fans were saying, oh, well, that ended up giving the Bengals the win. It ended up point wise, it allowed them to win the game.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to disagree with. It's a play that a whistle shouldn't have happened on. There's no need for the whistle. He wasn't out of bounds yet. It was anticipation whistle,
Yeah.
right? Well, that crew, because of that play, that single play, they were not allowed to work the rest of the postseason. Now, if we're talking about one play in the middle of a game where they fully admit, yeah, it was an anticipation whistle, it should have never happened, but it really didn't impact the play. Like that current play didn't really impact. If they get benched for the whole postseason, then this Super Bowl crew, who utterly just blew the last 3 minutes of the game without any good excuses and basically handed the game to the Rams. I mean, they shouldn't be able to work postseason for at least a year.
Oh yeah, no. And I didn't even know about those refs getting punished like that. So I mean,
that
if
was
that's
the day after the game. The day after the game, the NFL came out and said that crew will not work the rest of the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, and then you have the crew who just did the Super Bowl and the calls that they missed, yeah, they should be sitting out at least for a postseason, because that's when you want to be on your stuff. That's when it really matters.
That's
During
when
the
we can't
season,
afford
it's
blatantly
like
missed calls,
you
right?
can kind of let them go here and there. Granted, if you're missing a bunch in one game, maybe reffing is not for you.
Find a different calling.
Yeah, exactly. But
there's a bunch of jobs out there. This is America.
A land of opportunity. But
that's why people come here.
Yeah, we can literally just teach new people how to be referees. I don't know why we have the current ones.
Hey, I've been hearing a lot of commercials for IT experts lately. So, hey.
How's it going?
Let me know.
I got you. But yeah, dude, I really think that there definitely needs to be some kind of change made here. Whether it be allowing for challenges on penalties, you could argue that. But then, you run into, how many challenges do you get?
Yeah.
I have to regulate that more.
You're gonna have to really rewrite the rules.
Yeah.
But
and I know no one really wants
to. Yeah.
But you kind of, once you get to a certain point, you might as well rewrite the rules, as long as you're not completely changing the game and how it's played. Like, oh, we're no longer going to use a football, we're going to use a balloon instead.
Safety
as
first.
Not, yeah, like safety as long as you're not making crazy outlandish changes like that. Like if you're making changes to make the game better, both for like the players, coaching, referees, and everyone involved, I think everyone should be for it. I guarantee that some words will probably be said about the refs of the Super Bowl, and they'll probably see some kind of apprehension, or I don't think that's the right word I want, but you
Yeah,
know,
I understand what you're
yeah,
saying.
they're definitely gonna see some kind of like punishment or something like that. And if they don't, I'd honestly be surprised. Because I mean, especially with close games in the postseason, like
Yeah.
you need to be on and can't be slipping on a bunch of offsides calls or holding calls or phantom early whistles or whatever it
Yeah.
is. You got to be on your stuff. So I would like to see some changes being made in the postseason. Granted, Roger probably isn't going to approve.
Sure.
But
Well, I love
hopefully,
how we refer to him in first name.
yeah, no, we're
Never
on a
met the
first name
guy.
basis.
Good
Yeah,
old
we
Roger.
go yachting all the time.
Well,
Right?
Roger went to my school's rival. So Washington Jefferson, suck it. Okay. Y'all suck.
Losers.
Thomas More is where it's at. Okay. Go
Uh,
Saints, screw the presidents. Okay. But in all seriousness, any alumni from Washington Jefferson, those games, Thomas More versus Washington Jefferson baseball, were probably the best games I ever played. The atmosphere was fantastic, but I still hate you all. But I, I want to end the hatred on one final note before we go into some positives, looking forward and wrapping this Super Bowl up officially. This might be a hot take for some people, but I am sick of hearing about how amazing Aaron Donald is. Okay.
yeah.
He's a good football player. There's
Yeah.
no question about that. I'm not going to argue that. Okay. That dude does stuff that I can't do. He's an amazing physical specimen. It doesn't mean he's a good person. Okay. It does not mean he's a good person. And I can give you can just go to Google. Okay. This is my source, Google, because his
Google
pictures,
everything. It's Google, man.
it's on the internet, must be true. Well, guess what? This is pictures that I'm about to show you of Aaron Donald. Oh my God, look at this. He chokes people.
Yeah.
He chokes people. Okay.
Kinky guy.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to get along with this. Okay. This was what uploaded November 28th, 2021. This was from this season. From this season, he is choking one of my Green Bay Packers. Okay. I have an issue with that. Okay. Not just because it's a Packer, but because you don't choke people. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a grown ass man making millions of dollars. You can't act like a baby.
Oh, and then guess assault, what? Brother.
It is assault. I would charge him for that. But let's fast forward. Oh, this is a divisional round against the Cardinals. Oh, not just one hand this time. He's going for the full two. He wants to choke this dude out. Okay, so don't be coming at me telling me Aaron Donald's an amazing person. Okay, like he's awesome. He's a good football player and a douchebag. Okay, like a lot of NFL players are. This dude gives me major Ndamukong Suh vibes. And Ndamukong Suh is a very good defensive tackle. You cannot argue that, right?
Oh yeah,
he's very, very good football wise. But the dude is a psycho. He is an asshole and an extremely dirty player, and we're finally seeing Aaron Donald's true colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't be having
I'm done with people tweeting and posting about how amazing he is and how he deserved the Super Bowl ring.
Nah, Matt Stafford's the only one.
No.
Really,
I would say
Matt
Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Deserved them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, not even OBJ. So ESPN, get out with this bullshit.
OBJ, get out of here. You were a brownie at the beginning of the season, then you just were like, "Hey."
Well, I don't have an issue with that.
I'm leaving.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about OBJ real quick. The issue I have is NBC pushing this narrative of Cleveland said, "Get out, we don't want you," and it was no. Cleveland said the opposite. OBJ forced them to trade him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, are you supposed to keep him for the whole season and try to make it work when he's saying, "I'm not playing for Baker Mayfield anymore"?
Yeah.
Okay, prima donna, let's go. Where do you want to go? Okay, we'll get rid of you. Goodbye. You asked to be released. We released you. You went to the Rams. Okay, fine. But don't be saying that Cleveland pushed him out. And then on top of that, ESPN why is your first post after the Rams win the Super Bowl a picture, a Photoshop, obviously, because OBJ was in street clothes for the second half, but a picture of him and Matthew Stafford in the Lombardi Trophy? OBJ didn't do anything. Cooper Kupp
Yeah.
did everything.
Yeah.
I understand he got injured, but like,
yeah, that's the one thing that I don't get. Like, just looking at these numbers here,
oh,
OBJ had 2 receptions. All right, 52 yards for the 2. Pretty good. Pretty good. 26 average.
well, and a touchdown.
Yeah, and 1 touchdown. Cooper, on the other hand,
Oh Lord, what was
had,
it? Well, he was the MVP.
yeah,
right?
he had 8 receptions for 92
Oh,
yards.
that's all. He only had
So-
8.
Yeah, only had 8 receptions for
Oh.
92 yards. Averages out to be 11 and a half yards per reception. But
So they
2
locked him
touchdowns.
down for the most part.
Yeah, no, he was pretty shut down for the most part, but the plays that where he did break out, he broke out.
He made damage. So,
Yeah,
but that's the thing, is that Cooper Kupp was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
yeah. So
And
why are you
last time I
posting
checked, so was it like half hour after the Super Bowl when I'm going through and I'm pissed off and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all this feed and what, yeah. And I saw 4 ESPN posts about Odell Beckham Jr. and 1 about Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
post
viewed
about Matt Stafford. You
yeah,
had 1 post about Matt Stafford.
he was
like-
the one that ran the whole thing, and you're just gonna completely not talk about him and just focus on OBJ. Like,
Yeah.
OBJ gives off the similar vibe as Antonio Brown. Everything is about them.
I'm glad you brought that up, because a video surfaced of OBJ coming over and giving Kanye's kids his gloves before the game, and he was like hanging out with Antonio Brown and Kanye before the game, and I was like, hey, that's all I need to know. He's a psycho.
Yeah,
He's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna be the next Antonio Brown because he's hanging out with those two. If they're friends, okay, we all know that Kanye, now known as Ye, is crazy. Okay, and AB, we've seen the demise of him for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
We've seen him going downhill. The dude's nuts. So if he's friends with them, it's just a matter of time.
yeah, and
It's just a matter of time for
I mean,
OBJ.
I just kind of look at it as like, I watched a lot of interviews with Antonio Brown after his whole fiasco, which, you know, if we really
I
want
felt
to,
like
we
I
could
got
talk about it
stupider
another day,
watching those.
but I really don't want to. And basically what I'm getting from it is I just get the vibe that Antonio Brown is kind of done with football and is no longer at the performance in which he can succeed in the league. So,
I mean, that wouldn't hurt my feelings.
yeah, I
Not
think
dealing
he's
with
just
him.
trying to create the drama to
Hey.
create a name for himself. And like, who knows, maybe someone will pick him up. But like, if you're
God,
gonna
but
pick him up,
who would
why,
touch that
why would you pick
nuclear?
him up and
He's
then have him just
nuclear. Why
walk
would you
off the
touch
field?
him? Yeah,
Like,
like he
it's-
quit on a team in the middle of a game. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm done. See ya. Like, but I do think it's funny when people say the Madden curse didn't hit anybody as hard as it hit Antonio Brown.
So true though.
But no,
He was
to
so
end
good in
all of
Pittsburgh.
this, to end all of that. I mean, okay, yeah, you bring that up though. Think about what Mike Tomlin had to deal with on that team. Okay, because in all of that, Ben Roethlisberger was with the whole like scandal, right?
Oh, is that with the prostitute in the closet or something?
I thought there was like child porn in there too. Like,
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a
Roethlisberger had some
minute.
kind of sex scandal,
Yeah,
right?
he had
Like
something.
he had something, and maybe he's gotten rid of his demons in that regard. But he dealt with that. Then he dealt with the head case that is Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
And then he dealt with the psycho Antonio Brown, and now he's dealing with dancing Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, someone give Tomlin, like, you want to talk about someone who deserves a trophy? Is Tomlin.
Yeah, I coached
feel
Antonio
bad for
Brown,
the
and
dude.
I'm still here to this day. I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. Like
I don't know how I get
want
it, they're
to.
good, but like at the end of the day, who wants that drama around like a team?
Well, and he's also
Who wants
dealing with
that?
head case Mason Rudolph, who got smacked in the head by Myles Garrett, and Dwayne Haskins, who can't keep his wife from beating him in the face. Like what? Like what's going on with God? He deals with so much. Like when you really think about it, like
How is
he's
he
probably
not? He probably should have the
how's
most
he
coaches of the
how is
year
he not an
awards.
alcoholic? I mean, maybe he is at
He
this point.
might
I don't
be.
know. Like,
I know if I was in his position, I would not be where he is
I would
today.
have quit 10 years
I
ago,
would have been
dude.
like, I gotta deal with him another year.
If I had a
Peace
locker
out,
room
boys.
of Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, now knowing how they are, if I had a locker room with them at the same time, I'd be like, peace, dude. And you had a year with both of them and Juju. Like, how's this dude still coaching?
But that's like a really good receiving core right there. Like,
I'm not disagreeing that. Oh my God, you got Juju who's dancing, but you got Claypool who's like doing the first down thing when there's 30 seconds left in the game. Good old Notre Dame grad. Actually, I don't think he graduated, but like, how is he? He probably goes to the front office and he's like, why? Like, are you testing me? Like he was probably so happy when they drafted Najee Harris.
Yeah.
He was like, thank God, a sane human being.
Finally.
Like, dude, you finally did something right. Like, and he's got and he's got two of the Watt brothers who can be a lot. Like, they're not crazy though. They're just very vocal, high energy.
Yeah, they're big dudes.
Yeah, but God, Minka Fitzpatrick's a head case.
No.
Not as bad, as bad as the other guys. He's the safety from Miami, went to Alabama. But think about his last Super Bowl team. Although he dealt with James Harrison. That dude's a psycho. That dude
I'm trying to think of who
people.
James Harrison is.
92. Big dude.
Yeah.
He went to Kent State. You went to Kent State, you dummy.
Dude, okay. Half the people that go to Kent State, like,
can't read, can't write. That's him. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't come after me. Mr. Harrison, don't come after me. You're much bigger than me.
Hashtag. So basically what you're saying is I should be a Bama fan because I got to support my fellow alumni.
Nick Saban went to Kent State.
Yes, sir.
No.
Roll Tide, roll, baby.
I don't believe you with this.
Roll Tide, roll, baby.
Nick Saban, college.
Roll Tide, roll.
Degree. No, he did not. Holy shit. Are you serious?
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, roll, baby.
How the hell did he not end up at Ohio State? What the?
He was probably like, well, I went to Kent State. This is probably what all the other schools around here are like. I'm going down to the South where no one can read like me.
I'm a genius. Cheat the system.
I got that Northern education.
I wonder if he had an accent after 2 days of being down there.
2 days. 2 days after
me and my
living in Alabama.
family.
Yeah, me and my sister just got married and we're about to have our 3 kids.
That's no.
So, Nicholas, and Nicken. All 3 boys named after me, Nick Saban.
To wrap it up, we'll end on a positive note, not an ancestral note, but a positive note. Oh God, YouTube's gonna take us down because of you.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do something on this
one. But looking to the future, who do you like more in the future? Bengals, Rams? Why? Who do you think is going to end up in the between the two teams? Who's going to be in the next Super Bowl?
I would say Bengals, honestly. I think I feel like you could argue LA as kind of the Golden State Warriors
Not
phenomena.
LA, that's San Francisco.
Well, I know, but same state, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
same state. Okay, 49ers,
okay, but the
Giants.
49ers aren't going to do anything. What do you mean?
I don't know. I like the 49ers more than the Rams
I
for
mean,
next
yeah,
year.
but I mean, the Rams
Give me
built a
Nick
super
Bosa
team.
all day. Give me a healthy Trey Sermon all day.
I mean, but
Okay, just
still,
get rid of Jimmy G.
you got to think
Get rid of him.
about like the Rams were built as a super team, kind of like how Golden State was built as a super team.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's just not the same because Golden State, they're still relatively young, and you're talking about LA right now. You got the left tackle is going to retire. Aaron Donald, there's rumors he's going to retire soon. Von Miller's going to retire soon. Eric Weddle, I mean, he came out of retirement because of injuries, but he's gone. He tore his pec during the game, by the way.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a warrior.
He done.
But Matt Stafford isn't gonna play very much. He's got like,
That's true.
I think he's got like 5 more years.
He's probably yeah. I say if he stays healthy, he probably has 5 more years if he wants to. I definitely think that if you're gonna have a team that is going to make it back to the Super Bowl, I think if the LA Rams stay the team they are, I think they have the chance to. But I also think that there's a little fire that gets lit in a team once they make it to the Super Bowl and end up not being number one. So I could see the Bengals coming back and winning the Super Bowl next year. If we're being honest, if the team stays the same, I think they could come back with the addition of a couple players with a healthy offensive line and
I would say
maybe a few more
offensive
weapons.
line.
I think would be good to go. Bring that trophy back to the
Yeah.
nasty natty.
The nasty natty. Yeah. Now I would pick the Bengals just because I think their future's brighter. LA obviously as a free agent destination is going to be more luxurious and tempting than Cincinnati, Ohio. Simple as that. Yeah. Big market. Look where LA is. Cincinnati, small market. But honestly, like in the spring and summer and fall, it's actually really nice to play in Cincinnati. It's just those winter months can be brutal.
Brutal.
But I would also go off of what Keyshawn Johnson from ESPN said early in the season when somebody asked him about the Bengals. He was like, really, they're ahead of schedule. You know, they're serious Super Bowl contenders and champions in 2 or 3 seasons. He was like, right now they're playing ahead of schedule because what they need is they need to beef up the secondary a little bit. Okay. Get a little bit more established guys. They're just very young in the secondary. I think their front seven is fantastic. I think their weapons on offense at receiver and running back are top notch. I would get another high end tight end just to give more threats.
Yeah.
So then it gives you a little bit more flexible. But once they get the offensive line set, I think they're going to be extremely hard to beat because once they win that line of scrimmage on both ends of the ball, you're done.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about, the next 2 to 5 years, they're going to be legit contenders. I think it's going to be the new Chiefs and Packers where it's, oh, well, we can see them going to the championship and then going to the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah,
it's just, is it going to happen? Are you going to have the State Farm curse that the Chiefs and Packers currently have? But I would definitely put all my, if I had to choose between the Rams and Bengals, I would put all my eggs in the basket of the Bengals. They're going to get one in the next 5 years, guaranteed.
But do you think they'll go back next year? Back to
I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think they played with a lot of momentum this year.
Mhm.
I don't think that they were good enough to be in the Super Bowl, just looking at the other teams. I really personally, I like the Bills going into the playoffs. I thought
Okay.
they were really good. I think they just got screwed over by a stupid overtime rule in the NFL. Like, yeah, let's just give one team the chance to score, and that's
Yeah,
it.
that's dumb.
Um,
Stupidest rule
but
ever.
I would say next year it wouldn't surprise me if they got there, but I'm not banking on it. I would say in 2 seasons, I expect them to be there
Okay. Yeah.
based on what they have. And then that allows them to get a veteran offensive lineman in free agency this year or next year. And that coupled with a couple young linemen still learning and developing gives them a couple more years. I would say not next season, but the following, I expect them to be competing and potentially winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too. I think we're kind of, I don't know. I think they have a chance for next year. If they make some changes.
I think there's a chance. It's just
You
I'm
know,
saying in 2 years, I
yeah,
think
two
is
years
the
for sure.
two
I think
years
they'll definitely be
the
back in
the
and
bare minimum
actually playing
expectation
for
in
it.
2 years is a Super Bowl
Yeah.
appearance. Like, I mean, that's reality.
I can see it going down pretty quickly for LA. I don't know if even Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be there next year. I think that,
Well, I don't know if he would because Robert Woods comes back.
yeah, I think he was more
So,
signed as a, hey, we need someone to fill a spot.
well,
Can you do it?
he was signed, and then the next day Robert Woods got hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if their initial plan was, hey, let's throw these three really good receivers out there,
Yeah.
which maybe it is. I would love to see what their offense would look like in that regard. It's
Yeah.
just, I feel like they are turning into, they're trying to be the Chiefs where they don't have a run game. And we've seen time and time again, when you don't have a run game, you don't win games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just don't. I mean, they rushed for, I think, like 45 yards total.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
something that you need, especially at the NFL level. You need to have a run game to take away from your pass game, to let your receivers cool down, to,
yeah.
open up the field more. If you're constantly just throwing bombs and you go up against a team that has a decent secondary, you're not scoring at all that game. Like,
Yeah.
and if you do
Yeah. Well,
score, you're
once you
going to be
become
held
one
to minimal
dimensional,
points. Yeah.
yeah, once you become one dimensional, no matter how good your receivers are,
You're going to have
they're
Oklahoma syndrome.
Oklahoma. Well, Ohio State is currently
On that
experiencing
way
that
too. Yeah.
situation.
And I'm like, hey,
Speaking of Ohio
not
State,
good.
Gene Smith, breaking news today. Gene Smith announced that he has not talked to Ryan Day about a contract extension. However, the team up north has extended Jim Harbaugh for another 5 years. So we got to deal with 5 additional, I don't even know how many more years now, of that donkey face looking asshole.
See, I thought for sure he was going to break. I thought he was going to go to the NFL this year. I didn't
I
think
don't
he
think,
was going to.
well, he wanted to, but nobody wanted him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
That
it came
sucks.
down to.
Yeah. Got to win some college games, buddy. And then maybe you can go to the NFL.
You beat Ohio State once and you think you're ready for the NFL again.
Yeah. Call me in, coach. I'll do it. I swear to God.
Swear to God. Okay. Last thing. Hot take / prediction for next year. NFL anything.
Ooh, okay.
I thought you were about to say Baker Mayfield MVP.
Nope. I was about to say Baker getting traded for a
I don't
rookie
see that as
quarterback
a
coming
hot
out.
take.
But like,
I don't see that. Why?
that's
Who'd you
not
take in this draft?
no one. There's literally like no one that's like, oh yeah, we need him.
Yeah.
It'd be some like 3rd round pick that we'd pick up and turned out to be a freaking god.
Yeah. I got 2 for you if you need time to think.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Number 1, Ben Roethlisberger is retired, right? So the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for a quarterback. Dwayne Haskins beats out Mason Rudolph, starting quarterback. Steelers win the AFC North division. Okay. That's what I'm predicting. But the Bengals lose by like a game. Okay, the Bengals are still good. I'm not taking that away. But Steelers win AFC North division next year with Dwayne Haskins at the helm. Other hot take. Devontae Adams signs with the Indianapolis Colts and Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Colts.
I would like to see Aaron Rodgers get traded to the Browns. Honestly,
That will never happen.
I think it could happen. Bring some talent to Cleveland. Yeah.
That will never happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably never gonna happen. I
Because
can't think of anyone who's established in the NFL that's like, I want to be downgraded and play for the Browns.
Okay.
Like, nah.
Okay. Breaking news. Jordan has texted me saying Bengals beat the Steelers. So defaming that. Now I have my headphones on and the viewers at home. Oh no. So she can't hear what you say, right?
Yeah.
So she says Bengals beat Steelers, Aaron Rodgers to the Cleveland or to Tampa Bay. If Aaron Rodgers goes to Cleveland, I will become a Browns fan, full send.
Let's go.
Okay.
So
and I'll start going dog check.
Welcome to the pound.
Welcome to the dog pound.
Welcome to the dog pound.
But no, I would like to think that my Green Bay Packers are not stupid enough to trade for Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
I got one for you. All right.
Okay.
This is my hot take. I'm gonna end on.
All right.
That head coach, that one that we love ever so dearly.
Oh God.
Do
we love him now?
I don't think so. If we're thinking about the same coach, I sure don't, and I'd hope you didn't really like him. Fuck, now I'm blanking on his name. Green Bay Packers head coach, no longer the head coach. There's going to be some allegations that come out.
For the Packers?
Yeah.
What allegations? We aren't the Cowboys where our VP spies on the cheerleaders. Okay. This ain't the Cowboys.
See, I don't know, but I would like to see him no longer be the coach so Aaron Rodgers can get a ring.
What? This isn't Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is in Dallas.
I know. I'm not talking about Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, you're talking about LaFleur.
Yeah.
LaFleur. Okay, here's the hot take we're going to end on from Jordan. Okay. McPherson for MVP next year. First time ever kicker will win MVP. Ending on that.
He better start playing for the Detroit Lions.
Score all the points.
Stop scorer. Man, he's got better numbers than some of the wide receivers.
That would be true.
Especially at Detroit. Man, are you kidding me?
All right. Just remember, okay, everyone at home, the true champions are the Cincinnati Bengals.
Pizza.